First, I want to thank the senator from Florida for yielding, congratulate him on the success of this launch in Florida. As you say, it's a huge boost, if you will, for the space industry in your state and a huge advantage for our country, a really amazing technological feat that I think will be positive. Mr. President, I rise just for a few minutes to talk about the decision to allow drilling for oil and gas off of our coasts. This is a very consequential and serious decision involving important policy questions and has important implications for all of the coastal states and indeed for our country. My concern is to echo some of the comments that have already been made. There was very little, if any, consultation with the interested parties along our coastal states. In Maine, which, by the way, according to geographers I've talked to, has the longest coast of any state in the country. I'm sure I'll get some debate about that from some of my colleagues. But we depend upon our coast. Tourism and visitation to our beaches and coastal communities are a billion-dollar industry, the largest single employer in our state. So that is an enormous economic engine that is currently working and running and powering at least a portion of the economy of our state. And of course, on my tie, I have lobsters, a $1.7 billion a year industry in Maine, and it promises to be even stronger as processing is developed. We also have an offshore fishing industry, shrimp, shellfish. It is enormously important. It is part of who we are in the state of Maine. And in my view, this is a pretty straightforward decision. What are the benefits and what are the costs? And the benefits are speculative at best, limited at best, and the costs are immediate and an enormous challenge for us. The cost of a single incident along our coast, which affected our lobster industry or affected our visitor industry in the summertime and in the spring and the fall, would be catastrophic for our state. So I hope that the Interior Department will back off and enter into a process by which they make this decision by talking to the people that are most directly involved. I think this is a very important issue for all of the coastal states, and some may say this could be advantageous to us, but let's get the facts, let's get the data, let's understand the upside and the downside. But the entire Maine congressional delegation, nonpartisan, that's a Democrat, an independent, and 2 Republicans, have come out against this designation within hours of it having been made. And it is one that I think the people of our state, through their elected representatives, need to be heard. So I hope that the Interior Department will back away from this unilateral decision, make it in a much more considered way, listen to the residents and the industries and the businesses that are affected by a decision like this, and let our states have the important role that they should play in a decision of this magnitude affecting their citizens. Mr. President, as I say, I think this is an important decision. It deserves much deeper consideration, and I believe the people of Maine will will very promptly say, this isn't something that we're willing to support. Thank you, Mr. President. I yield the floor.